Good evening, everyone. Welcome to ThetaTalks. ThetaTalks is here every Tuesday, and we are here to give you a little bit of insight on beliefs, on theta healing, on patterns, on why we do things and why we experience and why we behave in certain ways. So we get a little bit more understanding and get to understand ourselves and other people a little bit more. So whether you have been following us for so many episodes, and if you haven't, you can go back to our previous episodes and catch up, or whether you have been listening and been on this journey with us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And our goal is simply to give you a little bit more clarity, a little bit more insight, and a little bit more aha moments, so that you can also create, very gentle shifts by just awareness. Because you are here and you're listening to this particular episode for a reason. And so there's something that you need to get out of it, which is why this is that particular episode. And let's have some fun and explore a little bit more.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, there you go. So, I didn't even introduce the topic yet, so
Oh,
you're
okay,
pretty good
perfect
on time
timing.
today, huh? Okay.
I am.
Usually, I'm trying to talk a little bit more before. So our topic today is
Okay.
on, motivation. I think I picked this particular topic actually because
Hmm.
it is the second week of January.
Okay.
And there is some crazy number, like 91 or 92% of people, they fail their New Year's resolutions. Only about 8 to 9% actually succeed, right?
Okay.
So I think, or motivation is something that I feel is important right now for those who have started and is kind of getting that momentum in. So helping them or everybody to kind of create that motivation is why I chose this particular topic.
Okay. So we're talking about like motivation, burnout. Tell me
Yes.
more. Tell me more about today's topic.
So the idea is there are so many reasons why
Hmm.
this, the momentum of this motivation that people are on,
Hmm.
they end up sort of falling through the cracks, right?
You mean,
And what
so are we talking about like New Year energy? Are we talking about kind
just
of
in general.
burnout? Okay, because when I was thinking about, I looked at what we're discussing today, right, Maish? And I'm jumping right in, okay? And it was really interesting because I had a client today who was a great example of how momentum can like suddenly go from
Fizzle
up
out.
here and dip,
Fizzle
right?
out. Yeah, that's the word
Right.
I was
And there's,
looking
of
for.
course, right now it's also the beginning of the year. So I also, hear you talking about like at the beginning of the year, the resolutions, the excitement, and then, we don't really sustain it for
Fizzle,
the rest of
yeah.
the year. But that's kind of like normal, right?
Mm,
That's a normal thing that happens across the board with people is the fresh start, new year energy, and we're really excited. And then over time we get busier and, we're not as excited about doing those same things. But what I do want to talk about and focus on today, if that is also where you want to go, Maish, is about how like momentum or the desire to do things, the drive,
mm, mm,
can just all of a sudden come to a halt. And you're like trying to understand, why do I not feel like doing anything? Why do I
mm,
wake up and just want to lie in bed? Or why do I want to, just laze around and binge watch a TV show instead of doing something, right?
mm.
And so, great example. I literally had my last client of the day, and we worked on this very, very same challenge. So, she started the conversation being like, Sanaya, over the holidays, it's usually the busiest time of the year after Christmas, around New Year season. There's just so much going on with my family. And, I don't get a chance to take a break. But this year, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to like, party. I didn't want to get dressed up. I just wanted to stay in bed. I was napping all the time. I didn't want to leave the house. I was crying. So basically she wasn't doing so great from the
Mm.
holidays, right? And we started to talk about the few people in her life who she felt were maybe like her friends who had disappointed her, who weren't there. She felt like she was chasing after everybody, and that made her feel even more kind of like lethargic and like, what's the point? Nobody really wants to hang out and so on, like that. In any case, as we started to work and I was digging into this, the fact that all she wanted to do was sit around and do nothing all day, the fact that she was feeling sad and wanted to cry, right, had everything to do with what she first told me, which is people had hurt her and disappointed her, and she was feeling really disappointed and really let down by people. And there was an incident, a couple of incidents she related. But when we dug down deeper, the real issue was everything she was feeling with everybody else in her life was actually what she was feeling about herself. So here
Okay.
she was telling me, I feel disappointed, nobody's around, they're not prioritizing me, I'm not
Mm.
important, etc. But really, when we dug into it, she was really disappointed in herself because she wasn't doing anything constructive in her life at that point.
Right.
And she had to make some decisions in her life. She was kind of procrastinating. She wasn't taking those decisions. She was avoiding it. She was binge watching Netflix. She wasn't really good with her diet. So she was so disappointed in herself that she was experiencing disappointment with everyone around her.
Mm.
And that in itself made her feel like not getting out of bed, not wanting to do anything, crying. So it was like everything was just feeding itself. And
Right.
she thought it was about the people in her life who she felt, unloved by or unimportant to, when in fact it started with her being disappointed in herself and her not giving giving herself the attention, giving herself the love that she needed to give.
Which
So
is what she saw outside, which is what she was bringing into her life. That's what
yeah,
what she's putting her attention to those things which she's already feeling inside of her.
yes, right. So it was like a mirror.
Mm.
So she thought she was looking outside of herself, but really it was inside of herself,
Yeah.
right? And why did it happen around that post Christmas season is because that feeling got triggered in a conversation over Christmas dinner
Mm.
where the spotlight was on her, and it was like, so what are you doing with
Right.
your life? What's next? Right? So that brought up the feelings of like, I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm not taking any action. I'm not doing, and then that led to that spiral. But really, what was happening is over the holidays, she was disappointed with herself. And then she got triggered on a Christmas dinner. And then suddenly she was in burnout mode. She had no motivation to do anything. She didn't want to go anywhere. She didn't want to go out. She didn't want to like spend the
So
holidays.
could it, I mean, just, breaking this down,
Yeah,
the
unpacking
idea
it.
is, she was triggered by that feeling. And so she felt some form of, shame, or she just felt these emotions where she didn't want to experience that again, potentially. So, what's the next best thing to do is shut down and hide and not want to meet anybody
Run
and
away.
just run away, escape, right? And
Yes.
so
Avoid.
that's where, she didn't connect with people. She was just kind of sitting at home and watching Netflix. So it was her way of coping or dealing with whatever she
Feelings.
or the feelings that surfaced,
Yes.
right?
And
Because
I
if she met other people, they might ask the same questions again.
and yes, but I want to interject for a second, okay? Because the way you put that made me want to kind of unpack a little bit more for this
Okay.
conversation,
Yeah,
okay?
please do.
Because she didn't know. So she didn't know that she was feeling upset because of the Christmas dinner conversation.
Right.
Okay. All she knew is she was unhappy during the
Mm,
holidays, and
right.
she was waking up crying, and she didn't want to go out, and it was really rocky, and she was
Mm.
She, acknowledged she was emotionally dysregulated.
Right.
She wasn't feeling, she was just burnt out and sad, and, like it was just not a good time for her. That's
Mm.
all she was aware of.
Right.
In peeling and digging in our session,
Correct.
first thing became clear. When did this start? Okay, it started at the Christmas dinner,
Mm.
and it happened with these people at the dinner who asked me something that made me feel like I'm not important. Like
Right.
even they don't believe in me. Even they've
Mm.
lost like any hope for me.
Mm.
They don't believe in me, basically, is what she took out from that. Right.
Right.
And then we dug deeper into that relationship. And it was like, oh, I feel very disappointed by them. Oh, but it's not just them. Even my friends, during the holidays, they were too busy. I thought they would hang out, but this was happening. My
Mm.
other, family member did this. So she had a string of people, in addition to what happened at Christmas dinner, that also made her feel disappointed in people and like not important, right? So
And
that
the
was layer
common
two.
denominator also I want to highlight is her, right? In all of these
So, okay, wait,
situations.
we're not there yet, okay?
Mm.
So the first thing is, oh, it was those two people, like what happened at the Christmas dinner. Then it became, oh, it wasn't just them, it was all these other people,
Yeah.
okay? And then you dig deeper into that. What did you feel? I felt disappointed. Oh, but then tell me a little, we're digging a little deeper, and I realized, oh, but who she's really disappointed in is
Mm.
herself. So from the event that happened, the situation, to like, oh, it's a general theme and pattern in my life right now, to, oh my God, that's actually me feeling disappointed in my own self that's projecting out to people.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can say, yes, she's the common denominator. In
Mm.
every of those relationships, she feels disappointed. That's the pattern, that's the theme, right?
Yeah.
And then we look at what were the events that happened which made her feel disappointed in herself.
Mm.
Not being good with her diet, not being constructive, procrastinating on a few things, not taking care of things she needed to. So then you're digging backwards. Oh, that's what happened for all these other events to have happened after that. Does this make more sense now? Is it more clear?
Yeah. But where does burnout come in into all of this?
So actually, what she came to me with was what she told me is, Sanaya, I have no motivation.
Mm.
I have no momentum. I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to stay in bed. I just want to binge watch Netflix. So she came to me not talking about Christmas dinner, not talking about disappointment, not talking about any of this other stuff. She literally came to me when the start of the session being like, this is how I feel. Like, I just don't
Right.
feel like doing anything. I feel like lost and confused and like, I don't even know what I'm doing in my life.
So the feeling could be like a burnout feeling, basically.
It presents as burnout. And
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
actually the point I want to make.
Yeah.
Is a lot of times our burnout or our loss of momentum. Like,
Mm.
how like you don't want to go to work. You don't feel inspired by a project you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't even want to wake up and like, like go to the gym, whatever it is. Like you have no inspiration, no passion.
Yeah.
You're burnt out. You're tired. Like
Mm.
there's just no feeling of like excitement in your life.
Yeah.
That's just what we say, right? Is a presenting problem.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dig deeper into when did it start? What was going on, before that? We got to see what is the pattern and where is this actually coming from? It's almost never about what you think the problem is, which is the
Yeah.
burnout or the lack of motivation or the no momentum.
Yeah. So when you worked with her, right, and you worked on her, um, that the feeling of disappointment, and you kind of went to the root, and so how did you end the session? Well, like, what was the takeaway for her? Just to give our audience a little bit of context of what happens in the end of a session.
Okay, so once excuse me, once we figured out what are the issues and we grouped them into three different things. One is disappointed in herself, right? The
Yeah.
second is the feeling of her needing somebody else to make her feel good about herself.
Okay.
So disappointment in
Validation.
others, the
Yeah.
validation, the
Mm-hmm.
like her self-worth is tied to somebody else.
Right.
Okay. And then the third thing that came up in the conversation is, by the way, with disappointment, we had insecurity also. She felt insecure, right? And ultimately, the third thing was she wasn't giving herself a break.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And when we kind of unpack that, why was she being so difficult to like on her, like, why was she being so difficult? Why was she pressuring herself? If she wanted to take a break during the holidays, take a break. You don't have to
Yeah.
be constantly on and constantly,
Yeah.
producing. And I don't want to get too much into her story, but we actually went back into a program that she had to survive.
Right.
She was a survivor. So the burnout also came from this feeling of like life is always difficult. It's like she always has to battle something. She has to learn the hard way. She always has to, even now she's doing healing to like, move
Mm-hmm.
forward. So she felt like, why is life so difficult for me? Why is it easy for some people? And
Yeah.
for me, like I have to work so hard at everything. And I know everything's going to be hard for me, like after this, you know, like marriage will be hard or my
Mm.
career will be hard or having a child will be hard. Like everything in our mind is it can only happen with a lot of difficulty. And so the program we uncovered with that was I'm a survivor. I always need to survive something. And the
Right.
reward, her mind saw it. Obviously, she's exhausted, she's burnt out, she's drained from having to survive everything in her life. But the payout or the reward is every time I survive something, I learn, I
Mm.
grow, I become a better version of myself.
Mm.
I develop some skills and so on. And so, in a way, her mind got stuck in this loop that the only way I can grow and learn and be better is to survive challenges.
Wow.
To have to battle with life. I didn't really want to unpack that whole thing because it's like it was
But
quite deep.
that is a very common belief
It
people
is a
have,
very
right? I need
common.
to suffer to learn, or I need to
Yeah.
learn the hard way. That's at the end of the day, that gist of that belief, where it's actually more common
Then we think.
than we think, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, okay, so what did I flip?
Mm.
What perspective shift, what healing did we do? So, of course, we heal. What I did with her is I released the triggers and the feelings and the resentment and the guilt and the shame from the
Yeah.
Christmas dinner event.
Right.
I released it from all the other people she felt were disappointing her, but most importantly, release the disappointment she felt for herself, towards herself. Okay. And taught her to be more compassionate and loving and kind to herself, give herself a break and trust herself,
Right.
And also, it's like she was giving herself a hard time because I'm not doing enough for the
Mm.
next step. I'm not like, going out there and like,
Which is the basis, her foundation of her belief, right?
yeah,
Which is I
which
need
is
to
I need to
do it
go out there
hard,
and do
hard.
something, right?
Yeah.
When all she needed to do was trust the universe, that the
Yeah.
universe would bring her the right opportunity, the right next step, and all she had to do was say yes. So I
Mm.
had to kind of like shift her mind to realize that all you got to do is trust that the universe will bring it to you. You don't have to go out there and like,
And get it. Yeah.
go
Yeah.
out and get it, put yourself out there
Yeah.
or whatever it was, right? You
Yeah.
could let it come to you and all you have to do is choose it or say yes.
Yeah.
It'll be as easy as that,
Yeah.
right? So I had to kind of remove that whole I need to go out there, I need to struggle, I need to battle, and then shift it over to I can let it come to me, I can trust. And she felt that others didn't believe in her. That was the Christmas dinner issue, right? She
Yeah.
felt like they didn't really believe in her. So I said, you don't need anyone to believe in you, right? Let's
Mm.
train your mind that you believe in yourself. And that's enough. So
Right.
between believing in yourself and trusting the universe to bring the opportunities,
You're
that's it.
set.
That's all
Yeah.
you need to do about moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Now, so that was one aspect of the healing. The other aspect of the healing was, okay, let's go deal with this I'm a survivor program.
Mm.
And it actually went back to being in her mother's womb
Right.
and
Oh.
surviving a birth challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
she survived, and then there was guilt that I survived it. So now I gotta live my life always surviving. It became like a
Yeah.
commitment um, to kind of pay off this like reward of surviving.
Mm.
And then she was recreating that in her life. And then I removed that program that you have to survive or you are a survivor, and taught her that you can actually enjoy your life and still grow, right?
Yeah.
You can have fun and still grow. You can like,
That's thriving. You can
yeah,
thrive.
you
Yeah.
can thrive. You can like enjoy your life experiences and grow as a person that way too. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be through struggle. So I basically told her mind, you can have the same reward and payout
Mm.
of growth and development without the pain and struggle of surviving,
Yeah. And
right?
I think that is a big key. A lot of my clients end up being motivated by negativity, right?
Right.
Or being motivated, not realizing the motivation or where that motivation's coming from is only this far. It won't take you all the way, which is also sometimes why people lose that momentum and motivation. Like I had a client who wants to, he's a perfectionist, he wants to do everything, perfect. Now, why does she want to be a perfectionist, or why she's a perfectionist is because, she wanted to get the love and attention from her mom, right?
Okay.
And that's why she had to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
But in the instance, her mother may be going to eventually pass away, or in the instance where she realizes I cannot be perfect, right? Then that's when it fizzles out, right? That
Yeah.
that feeling of I had all of this momentum to do and be the best, and then now what happened, right? So it is also very important to actually be motivated through maybe joy, inspiration, passion, purpose, right? So motivation is actually also driven by these positive things versus needing to prove something to somebody, right?
Yeah. So,
Needing to, to be perfect, right? Or
sorry.
versus that I need to, or like this idea of to prove that I'm enough or good enough, right? Then it doesn't
So,
last.
so what you're basically saying, right, is our if our motivation depends on somebody else, right? Because we need to earn someone's love or we need to prove, sorry about all these things I'm doing with my phone. I'm just again still trying to figure out the right place for me to do these IG lives.
Oh yeah, you have a different
Anyways,
background today.
yeah, like it's different. Like I'm still trying to adjust and find the right way. Okay, I know I should be doing this on my other time, but sorry about that. I'm just being really real that I just run here right before it's our time to go live and hit live. So, anyways, back to my story. What you're saying, or back to what I was saying, what you're saying, Maisha, is when we outsource
I
our
like that word.
motivation
Yeah.
to somebody else. For
Mm.
example, I need to get someone's love. If I'm perfect, they will, accept me more. I'll belong more. I'll be
Acceptance. Yeah.
acceptance, belonging,
Mm.
love. I will be, like
Chosen.
chosen, validated,
Mm.
whatever our need is, right? So if our motivation depends on fulfilling that emotional need,
Yeah.
when the person no longer is available to us, it doesn't have to be through death, but like for
Yeah.
some reason or the other, they are not available to give us, to
Not
fulfill that
anymore.
need, right? Maybe they get busy in their life. So they can't compliment you, or, they can't like show up to your whatever, your presentations or whatever. They're not there to validate you or make you feel good anymore. Then you actually start to feel unloved and you start to
Yeah.
feel the opposite of that need you're trying to fulfill, right? And then when no one's there to give you that feeling, you actually go into depression, you lose motivation, it basically spirals out. So
Yeah.
we can't depend on everyone else to
Yeah.
fulfill our needs. And I strongly believe that we need to learn to fill our own emotional needs. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for approval, you need to approve of yourself. If you're looking for acceptance from someone else, you need to first accept yourself. So give yourself what you are seeking from others. Actually, my TED talk was on that. My TED talk actually talked a lot about those kind of those kind of topics, or it's centered on some of that, like your emotional needs and so on. So ultimately, we like to say in theta healing that you should be, or ideally you want to be self-motivated,
Mm.
not motivated by something outside
Yeah,
of you that you will get because of your success.
absolutely. And so going back to the idea of lack of motivation, right? So
Mm,
what I'm getting from what we were discussing is more about, at the end of the day, if you don't feel motivated, or you feel this lack of motivation, or you feel this dip, or you're spiraling, or you're just feeling these, emotions where you just feel like you want to escape, it's something within yourself that needs to be heard, right? It's something that is waiting to come out and not waiting to be stuffed back in.
mm,
And it's about understanding, and recognizing what it is, right?
agreed.
And an emotional breakthrough session is a great way to be able to do that, to be able to unpack and understand, you know why am I feeling this way?
Yes.
Right? And to start from there, because then you can get direction and clarity. And
Hmm.
once you have clarity, and I experience this with a lot, most of my clients is once they realize, oh, or they understand, aha, it's that in itself is already creating that shift. So, they're really now inspired and motivated because they understand why. They
Yeah.
understand why I have been like this, or I have been doing like this, or I'm
Yeah.
feeling this way,
Absolutely. And
right?
actually, my client today, before I even started the healing part of our session, we were
Mm,
just digging into everything. And when she realized what was happening and what the key issues were, right, what the root cause,
yeah,
she was like, oh my God, Sanaya, I feel like a whole weight has already lifted off my
lifted. Yeah,
shoulders. And I didn't
absolutely.
even do the healing yet. I mean, after the healing, it was like, oh my God, I feel like
Yeah,
completely like ready to
yeah.
take things on. And she was very happy and very,
Mm,
feeling just so free of all of this. But already the clarity made a big difference. And there's nothing I want to point out, Maisha. I'm glad you brought up the emotional breakthrough. Is in a 1 hour session, which is what we do with our clients, right? What I did with my client and how we tackled these different areas and what it was connected to and going back to childhood, that was what we accomplished in a 60-minute session.
hmm.
Now, in an emotional breakthrough session, what at least you'd be able to do, right, is what is the issue you're coming to us with. So in the case of my client, I'm feeling not motivated, I just want to binge watch, I don't feel like I want to do anything with my life. And then just getting from there to recognizing that it started at this Christmas dinner because of what was said, and this is how I feel. So you'd
Yeah.
probably be able to make that leap backwards to understand, oh, that's where it's coming from. So you would walk away with that clarity of just like that one layer already gives you awareness and understanding. Okay, now I know why I'm feeling this way. So I don't feel so much out of control, right?
Yes.
And then if we had a full 60 minutes, right, we would go from that to the relationship with yourself, to where that
Yeah.
started, what were the programs. I mean, me and my client went into, things that it was actually connected to something that had happened to her mother, and she was repeating the same pattern. And then
Right.
it went down to
It's
like
like
what
that
happened in her mother's
Guggenheim,
womb.
that vacuum, you're really cleaning it all up versus
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah. So we go to all these different things and then kind of scoop the whole thing up and clean it all up, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between one of our emotional breakthroughs, which is free, by the way. So even getting that clarity is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like a 1 hour healing session when you work with any of us is a lot more. layers and patterns that show up, and it's a lot of very interesting insights and understanding, and of course healing, right? Healing layer by layer and clearing up everything. um I had a short story. I know it's time to go. You got to go, Maisha.
No, no,
So,
it's okay. I don't have class today. Last week I had a class, so
okay,
today
okay.
I'm good.
So, quick story is I was messaging with a client who had, wanted to do a little work on a topic, on something, and wanted to book a session. So I just reached out. It was before the holidays we talked about it. I was like, okay, let me know if you still want to connect on that, right? And so this person was like, I think I'm okay. I think, I feel like I don't need any more healing. I'm just gonna chill and just see where it goes, kind of thing, you know? And I completely supported her in that. And I'm like, of course, you should know. Your heart will tell you what you want. And, listen to how you feel, for sure. Right? Absolutely. But then I also wanted to share with her, I was like, healing is not something we stop doing. It's not
Mm,
like I go in for healing and I'm done. I'm still healing myself. You're still healing yourself, right? And I don't like to think of it, because some people think of it as I have to be damaged, or I need to have an issue, or I'm weak. A lot of people have these kind of
yeah.
thoughts that I have to be weak or damaged, or something's wrong with me. That's why I will go get a healing, right? But I like to think of healing, and I truly believe this. This is the best part of healing. It's great that you can release the past and the baggage and, heal those negative emotions. But for me, the excitement of healing lies that every layer I peel, every belief I shift that's negative, every opportunity to do a healing or getting healing from someone now raises my potential for more love, more abundance, more manifesting, right?
Yeah.
More opportunities, more clarity, more awareness, right?
Wow.
It's like every bit of healing just takes me one step forward in my life and brings me more. It basically raises your vibration and therefore attracts more things to
And
you.
that is your motivation to
And that
heal.
is my
Yeah.
motivation. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really my motivation to keep working on myself, because to
Mm,
me, it's like the sky is the limit.
yeah.
Like I want to be a speaker.
Mm,
I don't want to just be a speaker who gets speaking gigs and is a good speaker and, is busy with work, with like speaking. That's not what I want. I want to be a speaker who speaks on global stages and touches people's hearts. My words can move people to tears. My words can open up and see into people's soul and show them how beautiful they are and how easy it is to move out of the negative situations in their life and the possibility of what could be, right? So I can't just go from where I am to that.
yeah.
I have to remove my fear, my imposter syndrome, my sense of worthiness, my guilt of being a mother to 3 children who also need me, my sense of, there's so many things that stop me from becoming bigger in my life in every way, whether it's more success, more financial flow, whatever it is, right? And it's always our fears. And healing is a way to keep removing the limits we place on
Yeah.
ourselves.
Beautiful. That
Yeah.
is, I'm sure that has inspired many who are listening. I just want to add also, sometimes people think I should be able to do or deal with this myself. And I think that's also
Yeah.
a little bit of that's what I hear, right? It's like you're already doing a million other things, you know. It's okay to ask for support. It's okay to help and ask for help where another person can look at what's really going on versus you
Someone,
having to also do that. An expert,
an
right? Who
expert,
knows,
expertise
right?
who knows how to deal with this,
Versus, yeah, if you get a plumber, you need a good plumber. You're not like, gonna get a gardener to do that work, right?
Yeah.
So it's about understanding that you
Yeah.
don't have to do everything on your own,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make you not enough or failure if you're not able to figure yourself out.
Yeah.
It just, in this day and age, we have the luxury to be able to afford to be able to have those people around who can support us and help us. So why not just say yes to that?
Absolutely.
So time
I
for
know.
some,
Virtue.
and we have quite a few events coming up that we need to highlight.
Yeah, we've got the vision board workshop. That's January 24th,
Yes,
right? In BGC.
yes,
And then,
live. This is our live. You guys have been asking for in person,
yep,
right?
there it
So this
is.
is it. And
9
tomorrow,
a.m., 9 a.m. to 12, right? Is
yes,
our
correct.
vision board on January 24th.
In
Yep.
person. You just have to bring yourself. We provide everything. And then tomorrow I have I'm hosting a talk with Monica, who is a family constellation trainer and practitioner, and all about understanding why we carry stuff for our ancestors. And she's amazing. So you're going to enjoy that. And that is free. It's from 8 to 9:30 tomorrow. So please register for that.
It's
Um,
virtual online, Maish.
online, yes.
Okay. And then I have my
Meditation.
in-person
Mm.
meditation, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is live in person in BGC. I'm celebrating 250 episodes of the Project Loving Myself podcast. Yay! I know. I
Congratulations.
can't believe 250 episodes. My
I
gosh.
got you.
It like sneaked up on me and I was like, what? 250? Oh my God, I got to celebrate this.
Wow.
So we're doing, I'm going to be doing a talk about power.
Mm.
I want to start this year and make this year all about power. So the theme of the meditation is starting your year in your power. And I'm going to be talking about this concept about power. So it's 6 to 8 p.m. For those of you who live in Manila, I'm charging 250 pesos just to make sure if you make the commitment to show up, that you'll show up, because I only have limited spaces. It's not a massive space, but it's a nice space for the event. And right now it's still open. We still have spots available for people to come join us for this in-person meditation. And yeah, I'd love to see you there. So if you're interested in that, just drop us a DM below, a message. Or you could just just go to my Instagram at Sanaya Gurnamal and drop me a DM and I'll get you registered in. Okay.
So our card is gratitude.
We've had this come before, right?
So I think this is the energy that we're putting out there, right? And getting back. So thank you for listening to our episode. We're so grateful, and tying it into motivation. If you're feeling grateful about where you are, then you will be more inspired and motivated to
I
move
think
forward.
I think we tend to focus on how far we are from our goal, right? And all the things we've done wrong and all our regrets and all the roads not taken. Like
Yeah,
we focus so much on the negative instead of appreciating and being grateful for our accomplishments, for what we've done, for how we have committed to things and what we've done to get to where we are today. So I think if we have more gratitude, we would stay more motivated and joyful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys in person and online.
See you. Have a great evening, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.